My name's Sheriff Dale Harper. I've been serving this county for 22 years, and I've seen my share of tragedies out here in the Tillamook Forest. But what happened on November 13th, 2022, is something I can't explain and something I'm not supposed to talk about. For young men, experienced hunters went missing during a weekend elk trip. When we got the call, I didn't think much of it at first. Lost hikers, stranded hunters, it happens. But by the time we found their camp 2 days later, I knew this wasn't normal. What I saw there, and what I recorded before the government stepped in, still keeps me up at night. If you think you can handle it, keep listening. The camp looked like a bomb had gone off. The tent was ripped to pieces, like something huge had torn through it in a rage. Gear was scattered everywhere. Rifles, backpacks, shredded clothing, and the ground was covered in spent shell casings. They fired a lot of rounds, but judging by the blood splattered on the ground, it wasn't enough. We found 3 of their rifles, mangled, not dropped, not damaged by a bear or elk, mangled, like they'd been twisted by something with more strength than I thought possible. And then there was the fur, black, coarse, clinging to the bark of a tree. I ran my fingers through it, and it didn't feel like any animal fur I'd ever handled. The strangest thing, a flashlight, still faintly flickering, sat in a pool of blood. It was a mix of theirs. DNA confirmed it later, but there was also blood from something else. Something unknown. That's when I spotted the GoPro. It had been knocked into the dirt, partially buried under debris. I hit play, and what I saw on that screen turned my stomach. I downloaded every file to my phone before anyone else arrived. I knew it wouldn't be long before the suits showed up. The footage started the night before. They were sitting around a campfire, laughing, telling stories, tracking elk prints earlier in the day. But then the sound started. It began as faint rustling in the distance, then a growl, deep low, not like a bear or a cougar, something worse. You could hear them joke about it at first, but by the time that howl tore through the forest, they weren't laughing anymore. It was long and guttural, too loud to be any animal native to these woods. The next morning, the camera caught them tracking prints again, but these weren't elk. The tracks were huge, 5-toed, and deep enough to suggest whatever made them weighed more than a grizzly. Tyler, the youngest of the group, wanted to leave. "This isn't right, man," he kept saying, but Mason, their leader, insisted they stay until sundown. That night, the attack came. The GoPro recorded everything, the growls, the gunshots, the chaos. Whatever it was, it hit their camp like a freight train. You can see it, just for a moment, when Mason fires his rifle, a huge, shadowy figure, its eyes glowing like molten gold. Gunfire didn't stop it. They unloaded everything they had, and it didn't even slow down. You can hear them screaming, the camera flipping as it falls into the dirt. The last thing the footage captured was Mason shouting, "It's in the trees," before everything went dark. The men in black showed up not long after we did, black SUVs, no markings. They didn't waste time. They cordoned off the area, collected every piece of evidence, and ordered us to keep quiet. When I asked who they were, one of them just stared at me and said, "You don't need to know." But they didn't. No, I'd already downloaded the footage. I wasn't going to say anything, but every time I close my eyes, I see that thing. I hear the gunfire, the screams. People need to know that something is out there in those woods, something dangerous, and it's not a bear or cougar. If you're brave and want to see the footage I recorded, follow, like, and leave a comment. I want to see the footage, but be warned. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.